In 2005, when the storm came through, it was a big storm, and the U.S. was dealing with Katrina in New Orleans. So, Gaspar, ¿qué tal? And so nobody paid any attention to what was happening in Guatemala, except my little pueblo was buried under rocks. They had about like 12 inches of rain in about 3 hours or something insane. And the flood was so powerful. We have a photo of the rocks. Here I am, the basketball court. The rocks were up to the basketball rim. So everything that came down the valley, if you can see up into the mountains now, washed all the way down and destroyed the town. The whole town was turned into a river. And ugly stuff. Only one person was killed. But obviously it was a super tragedy. My first hospital clinic was in Santiago, across the lake. It's on the south side of the lake. And places to buy food, right? This is the main path here. Hola amigo, buen día. And so, right, every imaginable class related to everything from yoga to ayahuasca, everything in between. And the storm that hit in 2005 destroyed the hospital. And so the first hospital I worked at was a provisional emergency they set up in a hotel, of all places, and kept the hospital going. But the hospital they had built and opened in 2004 was destroyed like 11 months after it opened, from the same storm that hit this town in 2005. This is a non-profit that tries to feed kids that can't feed themselves. Every imaginable artisan craft, these kinds of things like woven products, secondhand clothing, right? More classes than you know what to do with. Up ahead was the Hotel San Marcos, which is the first place when I started studying about a year and a half into my studies. You could go into practice. Like there was no regulation here. Like nobody cared. My goal was to get good at acupuncture quickly, but I don't want to shock you, but I didn't have any takers, and so I ended up doing a lot of massage mostly on Israeli tourists, like passing through, whoever came around. Hola, ¿qué tal? Platicamos más tarde. Okay, yeah. And so now, right, the ice cream joint. Buy my vegetables here. Nice flowers today. Right? And just one cafe after another. But right here was the Hotel San Marcos, and I opened my first practice. It's a cafe now. But back then I paid, whatever, less than $100 a month to rent a little space, and I had a table made, and I was learning healing arts. I was so happy. It was fantastic. Like I was so into it. And this would have been 2002, maybe at the earliest. This building up here was the old hotel. And so the fabulous array of people wasting as much time as they possibly have. Actually, I'm not being critical, right? There's a lot to be said for as the Italians call dolce fa niente, the sweetness of doing nothing. And so this is a little school with a preschool, like kindergarten school. My other bag ripped. I'll figure it out. And just and like steady stream of really outrageously colorful characters here. And so, well,
good morning, sir.
Morning. And so, beautiful. Like, look at this, beautiful handmade fabrics. Lovely stuff. And so, my education really consisted of me doing nothing else than studying and practicing by myself, and whatever poor luckless bastards came through my clinic at the time. And there was much less tourism then than there is now. This place has become really quite notorious, famous if you prefer. But just to show you where we are, right, we continue down the path here, and we are now finally at the lake. And I would take the boat across the lake to my mentor and go to class and do an actual an actual lecture, like an actual session, where I would get good hands-on and get my questions answered and sort of figure out what my next assignment would be, and book learning and everything else. It wasn't like we were just running around the forest playing doctor. This guy was a very serious healer and medical professional with a lot of experience. My mentor, Jaime, had about 35 years head start on me. But at the time that all my studies really took off,